Howdy, folks. I'm Brian,
I'm allergic Amber.
and Amber has allergies. Since yesterday was such a success for people seem to really enjoy that format. I'll continue it today. I can't guarantee I'll do it every day like this, but let's get started. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read as many Reddit as I can, and then I'm just going to cut them out and find the interesting ones for you. So let's get started. Our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Refusing to Pay for Her Hotel Room? I rent out the spare bedroom in my house for $800 a month, market rate in my area. I don't know my roommate very well, but we work for the same company. I work early mornings and she works in the evening. So we're often ships passing in the night. On Friday, my hot water heater broke. The home warranty guys said they couldn't get anyone out there until Monday morning. It's hot right now, so I wasn't too upset. A few cold showers won't kill anyone. I texted my tenant, hot water is out until Monday, and she responded, thumbs up. I didn't see her all weekend, which is normal. As I said, the guy got here at 8 a.m. to fix the water heater, and when he was done, I texted her to let her know that the hot water was back on. She hits me with this gem. My hotel bill was $250. Do you want to reimburse me now or just deduct it from next month's rent? I stared at the text for a good while. I didn't even know that she was gone. She got a hotel room for just the hot water? That's so extra. She could have showered at work, but she got a hotel room. I texted, Hey, I didn't know you left. Rent is still due in full on the first of the month, regardless if you chose to sleep elsewhere for the weekend. She texted me back, There was no water. I couldn't stay there. You are my landlord, and you have to provide me with a livable accommodations. I texted back, there was water, just not hot. If it was a winter, you might have a point. Rent is still due in full. Failure to pay will result in me filing with court, which will impact your credit. She stopped responding. I texted a friend who said that this was way too harsh and I should have just countered with a $50 discount for the 2 days or something like that. Which, sure, if she had asked for a $50 reduction, that would have been reasonable. But I'm not paying for her hotel, and the audacity of her to think and ask me of that just makes me mad. But I know, jumping to talking about filing at 30 days was a bit dramatic. Was I the jerk? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Everyone's a jerk a little bit. She should have asked him first if she wanted to be reimbursed, but it is his job to provide her with reasonable accommodation.
So I think this one depends on the law a lot. I do think that OP should have given her reasonable accommodations. I do think that she should have asked, but also if there's laws in your area that state that you have to be providing certain things to your tenants, then she may be well within her legal right to do this. So I would make sure by a lawyer that what you're doing here is not illegal because she may have some kind of claim. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Renovating My House Against My Parents' Wishes? About 6 months ago, I, a 27-year-old female, bought my childhood home from my parents. They both were having trouble getting up the stairs and felt that they needed to downsize. They wanted to keep the house in the family since they had bought the house from my grandparents. They were going to originally sell it to my younger sister since she's the only one that plans on having kids and it's a big house, but she was not at a place to buy it at the time. My parents have spent a lot of money over the years fixing the house to their taste, and the house is very beautiful. But me and my mother's tastes are very different. Plus, because my father took so long doing each part of the house himself, there are certain parts of the house that look more outdated than the rest. So I've been making plans to renovate most of the other rooms. The only part of the house that is remaining the same as is the master bedroom. While I had my parents and sisters over for dinner last weekend and I told them about what I would be changing, they all lost it on me, saying that I was destroying the memories that we've made in the house. I was disagreeing, and I have the right to make it my own house. And by their logic, they shouldn't have changed anything when they bought the house from my mother's grandparents. They settled down after but a couple days ago, I found out that my father had called my contractor and tried to fire him, stating that he was the actual owner of the house. Oh yeah, that's gonna go over well. When I called my father about it, he told me that he would never have sold it to me had I mentioned that I would be changing anything. I've since had to go no contact with most of my family because they won't stop calling me to yell at me. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk, it's your house.
I think OP's reasoning is 100% spot on here. They changed the house when they moved into it. Yes, there are memories, but the house would be a completely different house if they sold it to a stranger. She's going to make it the house that she wants to make it. And there's no saying that the sister wouldn't have changed things too. I know that she's taking their side now, but that might just be because she wanted the house and couldn't get it, right? Anyhow, take care and good luck. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Putting a Lock on My Deep Freezer? I'm a 25-year-old female and I live in a small neighborhood where we all get along with each other rather well. Me and my neighbors often tend to have little cookouts or gathering in our yards to celebrate various holidays or just to let the kids hang out in general. However, with the summer heat, we haven't done many hangouts like this and usually just the kids playing outside now. I tend to get worried that they'll overheat out there, so I decided to use the extra deep freezer I had to fill it with ice creams and popsicles for the kids and put it outside so that they'll have something to cool down with. I left a note on the freezer telling them that it's okay to take more than one and just to be mindful of others and don't take too many. This worked out great with the kids listening to the note, and some of my neighbors even pitched in to refill the freezer whenever it started getting empty as well. That was until the new family moved in. Dun dun dun. I can see where this is going. Their kids would always take way too much, sometimes taking whole boxes of popsicles or one too many ice creams. Even the parents would come in and snatch a few. I went to their door and told them that they had to slow down because it was getting to the point where the freezer would run out too fast and the other kids would be left with none. They said that they understood and they'll tell their kids to slow down, and I went home after that. Lo and behold, the parents are the next day about to take multiple boxes of ice cream. And I went outside to stop them and tell them that they needed to put them back, and they complained about it for a while, but eventually put them back. I was beyond annoyed with this, and I wanted to find a way to work around the situation. I didn't want to stop filling the freezer because I wasn't about to punish all of the kids for something one family did. Instead, I decided to clasp a lock for the freezer. I called up my other neighbors and explained to them, and they all agreed with me. So I went and bought a lock and put it on the freezer the same day. I also bought multiple keys and gave them to all of my neighbors, except for that one family. I would personally unlock it myself if their kids wanted an ice cream or popsicle. I didn't want to exclude their kids because I don't like the thought of them watching everyone else have ice cream and popsicles while not having any themselves. I guess they must have told their parents because a few days later I had both of them banging on my door and yelling about how I'm making it seem like they're thieves to the other neighbors and calling me overdramatic B for locking the freezer. I simply told them that I gave them warning, but they didn't listen, and now they've got to deal with the consequences of their actions. So Reddit, am I the jerk for putting a lock on my deep freezer? I didn't know what to expect out of this one. What do you folks think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
OP. I don't think you're a jerk in this situation. These people are being entitled. They're like taking boxes of ice cream out of your freezer, and now they have the audacity to be like, hey, you shouldn't have put a lock on there. Even though you're still giving our kids ice cream, it still makes us unhappy that we can't get free ice cream, all of the free ice cream out of you. No, you're not a jerk. What you're doing is great, and it's just unfortunate that one bad apple is spoiling it for everyone else. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Our next letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Not Giving My Girlfriend a Chance After Her Test? I'm a 27-year-old male, and my girlfriend, a 26-year-old female, had been together for 5 months. It sounds weird, but our mom actually set us up. Anyways, we took things slow initially, and as we got more comfortable, things were going great, and it seemed like she thought things were going as well. So last Friday, I'm dropping her back home after dinner, and I walk to her door. She then says that she wants to talk and tells me that she thinks that we're different people and that we should break up. I'll admit, I was a bit shocked, but I understood at the same time. I thanked her for being upfront and honest with me and wished her the best. As I get into my car, she comes running like a bat out of heck and grabs me and hugs me. She didn't mean it, and it was just a stupid test that her friend told her to try, and started apologizing. I was really confused and asked her to clarify. She said that it's some sort of fake breakup test to see if the guy or girl will beg for a second chance to see how invested they are in the relationship. My confusion turned into anger, and I told her that it was pretty messed up, essentially a form of manipulation. I asked her if the goal was for me to feel like I'm walking on eggshells and worry about her leaving. She didn't say anything, but I just told her that I needed some time. She asked me if we're still together, and I know that it was petty, but I told her that I needed to think about it. She's been blowing up my phone and leaving voicemail and crying ever since. When I told my mom about it, she said that I was being a jerk and that it was a simple mistake on her part and that I should forgive her already. Now I feel like I might be a jerk because it really could have been a simple mistake and I'm being cold since she's currently going through a hard time right now. So am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. People shouldn't do relationship tests.
I think relationship tests are always a bad idea. And she sounds like she's a young individual, and maybe this was a first serious relationship that she's had, and her friend gave her some bad advice. You know, OP, it's not going to hurt to give her the benefit of the doubt if this is the only red flag that you've seen. Sit down and explain to her that this really hurt you and that you don't want to be in a relationship where someone's constantly threatening to break up with you, and have a healthy communication with it. If you think everything is going well and you think that this relationship is worth having, then talk with her and, work out your problems. And, that's how, relationships work. I can certainly understand your hesitation because this test, what happens if there are more tests? She needs to not listen to this friend, and maybe this is the impetus that she needs to be like, oh yeah, by the way, friend's advice, bad. Don't do stuff that's manipulative. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Our next letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Insisting to be Called Doctor by My Boyfriend's Father? I'm a 27-year-old male, and I've been dating my boyfriend, a 26-year-old male, for about 3 years now, and have known his family for a little under that. His father is a doctor, and when we first met for the first time, asked me to call him Dr. XYZ. Edit, he's a Psych D, for those wondering. I didn't think that it was all that relevant, which is why I wasn't specific. Personally, I think this is weird, especially since he insists on it, despite me having known him for well over 2 years now. That being said, my boyfriend assured me that it's just a matter of respect for him because it's his professional title and I shouldn't think anything of it. He calls his father Dad by his first name, but he told me that in the past, his dad sometimes asked to be called Doctor, similar to how some want to be called Sir. I just recently finished my PhD, and now I'm officially a doctor too. Congratulations, OP! That's a hard thing to do. Like I said, I don't want to put too much stock into professional titles, but it is cool to finally be done with it, and I have been bragging recently, just cause it's a big achievement for me. When meeting up with my boyfriend's family, I told everyone that I had finished my degree, and they all congratulated me, including my boyfriend's dad, who told me, congrats, OP, but don't expect me to start calling you doctor. Oh, this is rude. Rude. I wasn't really expecting him to do that, to be honest, but the way he said it really struck a nerve with me, so I replied, why not? I've given you the professional courtesy. To which he said, it's not the same. It is the same. At this point, I'm really confused because I didn't mean for this to turn into an actual argument, but I'm just really confused by the sudden shift of attitude. I responded by saying, I don't really see how it's different. I never understood why I should address you as doctor, to be honest, and was always told it was a matter of professional courtesy. Now I'd like the same courtesy back, or I'm not going to give it to you anymore. The argument just sort of went in circles from there until I eventually said, whatever, I'm just not going to respond to you calling me by my first name anymore. And did that constantly for the rest of the night. When my boyfriend got back home, he was mad at me for trying to one-up his dad and causing a fight. I don't think that's what this was. I do feel like I could have dropped it. Like I said, I don't really care about being called doctor, but at the same time, I feel like his dad's behavior was complete BS. Alright, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. The dad clearly sees himself as superior, and he doesn't want to give Opie any ground. We can't be the same.
Yeah, this is more or less the type of person who says respect in the respect that I will, if you treat me as an authority, then I will treat you as a person type of respect, where it's more or less that he wants to be treated as an authority and not as an equal. And I think that this is really telling. So no, OP, I don't think that you're a jerk. He should have been gracious and been like, congratulations, Dr. So-and-so. And then also, most doctors don't really get called doctor outside of their professional settings. It's just like a professional title. You use it in a professional setting. It really isn't something that you force everyone to call you. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for refusing to buy my brother and his girlfriend plane tickets? Am I the jerk for insisting that my brother and girlfriend pay for themselves? I'm a 32-year-old female and I have 2 brothers. We'll call them John, a 30-year-old, and Frank, a 29-year-old. John and I were very close growing up. Meanwhile, Frank was a difficult kid. He was angry and aggressive, and despite being the youngest, he got older and would pull pranks and even physically bully us. My parents, 55, tried getting him help as a kid, but nothing worked and he progressively got worse over time. By the time I graduated high school, I accepted a scholarship and moved a few states away. When my brother John graduated, he moved to my town for school and our parents got us an apartment to share. Frank decided not to go to college and ended up spending a few stints in prison for larceny and assault. He has been living at my parents' house ever since. Well, John met his wife and moved back to our hometown. I stayed after college and have had a pretty good career. When John moved back, he and Frank reconciled. John encouraged me to try reaching out to Frank because he supposedly changed for the better. I had no interest in this. He made my childhood a living heck. I remember when he locked me and John out of the house after school in the rain and laughed. He used to stab and poke me with pencils and other objects around the house, leaving bruises. He once flushed my betta fish down the toilet, oh no, because he was upset that my parents wouldn't buy him one too. Not to mention the time that he pushed me off my bike and I almost broke my wrist. Needless to say, I made it clear, John and my parents, that I don't want to have a relationship with Frank. For my parents' 30th wedding anniversary, they are planning on taking a family trip to Florida. They have invited me, John's family, wife and 2 kids, and Frank and his girlfriend. I would like to go because I don't get to spend time with them often. Being around Frank isn't something that I'm looking forward to, but I can tolerate it to see the rest of them. Mom called me yesterday and asked if I would be willing to help cover Frank and his girlfriend's airfare to get to the beach house because Frank is in between jobs and his girlfriend can't afford a plane ticket. I immediately refused and said that I'm not comfortable with that. She said that she and Dad have already put too much money into the trip and was really hoping that I would help them out. I suggested that maybe my brother and his girlfriend drive down to Florida instead. Mom left the call upset, and then John texted me today asking for help, please. He said that he can contribute if he wasn't already paying for 3 other people. Am I the jerk for not buying their plane tickets? I really want to see my parents and nephews, but now I'm not sure if I can still go if they're pressuring me. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
You know, I can understand why you would be angry and upset, OP. This is a really rough situation. And you have a lot of childhood trauma from a person who bullied you physically and emotionally. And I can understand why you haven't reconciled with someone like that. These kinds of scars don't just go away overnight, and they take a long time. So I can understand if you're not comfortable with seeing your tormentor from a childhood. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for expecting my husband would tell me about his promotion before posting it to the family WhatsApp group? I have known my husband for the past 7 years, and we got married last November. When we met my husband, it was a real struggle with studies and finances, whereas I had already a very promising career as a doctor. I supported him all of these years. I paid his debts and even financed our whole wedding and honeymoon. He said that he will pay me back, but I'm fine even if he doesn't. We got married and he was working at a very low-paying job, and I had to pay off a lot of his debts. My parents were really against our marriage, and it took me 2 years to convince them, but I stood by his side all along. In May, he got offered a much better position, and I moved with him to another city. I resigned from my job to support him. He applied for a better position at the same firm, and we were hopeful that he would get it. Today he got an offer letter for the position, and I came to know about it when he posted it on the family WhatsApp group, which includes his mom, dad, brother's wife, and I. I called him, and his number was busy, and it was an understatement to say that it broke my heart. I just couldn't handle it, and when I did get him on the phone, after congratulating him, I couldn't help but let him know how hurt I was. He said that I ruined his moment. Even if I was hurt, he did it because everyone was waiting for the offer letter, and that he was busy, and that's why he posted on the group chat. He later said sorry, but sounded very insecure and repeated how I ruined his moment. Am I the jerk here for expecting to be the first person he called, as not only as that I'm his wife, but also a big part of all the struggle? Edit, I want to add some more information. This has been a thing in our relationship. We tell each other important news first. My parents have been a lot more interested in my career and studies than his ever were, and the initial setbacks that he had because of his very overbearing father, who even used to beat him up when he didn't do well at studies. Part of the debt that I paid was money that he owed to his dad and brother, which they started demanding immediately after we got married. In the 7 years, I had more good news to share than he did, and he always knew first. Also, we are Pakistani, and we had to live with his parents as customary here till we moved to another city, and any good news that I had to celebrate with him before I could with my own parents. I even said to him that I wouldn't have been so hurt if he had called his mom and then called me, but finding out like this was on the group chat felt really like a punch in my belly. Obviously, I don't want to control him, but I can't control how I feel, and I'm still quite hurt, although he said he's sorry, and we spent the day normally. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. I mean, you should call people and tell them individually those kind of things. Like the order
Yeah.
doesn't matter so much, but posting it to a WhatsApp is
Yeah.
very impersonal.
Did everyone need to know immediately after he got it? And I think like if I had been him, I would have just called and I would have shared the news individually one at a time and then posted it to the WhatsApp for any other individuals who were just kind of like flies on the wall type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that this was actually rude of him through my cultural understanding, but it does sound like that they are from a different culture and there may be very different norms, but it sounds like she was expecting to be told first and that this was something that they had kind of worked out between themselves. So I do feel like he subverted her expectation, and that was really hurtful. And I think that he does owe her an apology, and it sounds like he did apologize, so I don't think OP is in the wrong here. I think he hopefully is aware of what he did and how it hurt her. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I have a beverage of choice. Amber has water, but she used to have tea, so it's her fault that she doesn't anymore. All right, folks, this is a mathy one. How many times can 100 be subtracted from 800? Only once. After that, it's 700. And I have Mega Mint tea. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. And if you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow.